Welcome to the session. We are discussing Module 4 of operating systems, virtual memory management and file system, file implementation. So as for ease of our studies, we divided this entire module into two parts. The first part we already seen virtual memory management. And in this part, as a second part, we are going to discuss about file system and file implementation. This is Pradeep Kumar from Department of Computer Science and Engineering, AJ Institute of Engineering and Technology, Mangaluru. So in this file system and file implementation, we are covering this many topics: file concept, the brief about files and its concepts, and different accessing methods of file, directory structure, file system mounting, file sharing, how we can protect those files. Then we are implementing file system. We are going to see different file system structures and how we can implement those file system structures. Then we are discussing about directory implementation and different file allocation methods, and then free space management. So these are the topics we are going to cover under this file system and its implementation. To begin with, as we know, in a file, its operating system's job is to provide access to different files. On the other hand, it will give provision to create, to write, to read, or to alter, delete, or truncate, or shift. So these are the different provisions provided by the files. So when we say the file, we can have different types of files. With respect to continuous logical address space, we can have different types of files. So now these type of contents we can have in it. There is when we say data may be in the form of numerics, maybe in the form of characters, maybe in the form of binary. And we can have program also. So we can provide logical address either to different data types and for the different programs. So when a particular file has been created, so that particular file maybe belongs to any one of the category. So we have different types of files: a text file, a source file, executable file, or object file. So many based on different extensions we can categorize it. So when we say a particular file at least should have a name, identifier, type, location, size, protection, and time, date, and user, who is a creator, who is a modifier, all those things. So these are all nothing but the file attributes or properties of a particular file. Attributes, when you say, these are the different categories or different headers used to explain a particular file. So when you say name, so name is nothing but to identify. There is only information kept in human readable form. Usually we can involve text. Then we have identifiers, that is unique tag or number. So this identifies file within a particular file system. Usually this particular identifier or ID as a number provided by the file system itself. So the type may involve different types based on the systems that it supports. A location, where exactly we wanted to save the file. There is pointer to file location on device, the path. Then size, the current file size, maybe in the bytes, kilobytes, megabytes, and so on. Protection. So protection in the sense access, by specifying access specifier, we can have a protection control. For example, for reading, for writing, for executing, or all. So these all comes under protection. Along with that, we can have time, date, and user identification information also. So that is data for protection, security, and usage monitoring. So these comes under time, data, and user identification. We can tag along with this also. So information about files are kept in the directory structure, which is maintained in the disk, as we know. So wherever we wanted to have the disk, so it will be maintain all these informations in the directory. So many variations, including extended file attributes such as file checksum and other things, can be carried out with these file attributes. Then in our directory structure, we have the information which is related with the this file also other information like metadata description about the data, we can have it in our database. In our database, in the sense with respect to our directory structure, we can have a copy of that metadata. So this is a sample information related with the file info. There is a window which will open when you click on file info on Mac OS X, that is Mac machines. For example, how to access this one? So select any particular file, click on that particular file, right click, select file info. So then this particular window will open, this type of window will open. So over here, at first, you can see from this is a file name 11.tex text. There is a file name. So this file name, then info. So over here you can see this is a file name 11.text, and when it is last modified, that is today at 2 p.m. So if you modified, if the person has been modified previous day, then that particular date will appear over here, date and the time may appear. So this is the size of the particular file. Then general attributes may list out over here. Type of file, that is kind of file, that is text document, size in bytes. Generally it is converted to bytes. Within a bracket you can see the upper layer, upper level, that is if it is in a bytes it is in a KB, if it is in a MB it will be available in the KBs. And then the path where this particular file has been located. When it is created, that is the creation is nothing but whenever you open a particular file the first time. So that is, say if you open a blank file, so that is a creation, and you save, that is modified, right? So that is created at today's date and time, modified. And then label, some of the label you may have it over here. Then some of the options based on the OS stationary pad or locked you can have. So this, if you click on this locked, nobody else can alter this particular file as it is saved, because nobody can open it, nobody can alter it, all those modifications. And then more information, that is last opened, whenever you create it, after that whenever you close that particular file, when you open the last time. So these are the informations are available. Now along with that, at last you can see over here read, write and execute permissions, who and all are having different privileges or permissions. These are clearly specified in this file. So this is with respect to Mac OS. So in general, a file is nothing but it is an abstract data type. So we can have a permission. So an operating system may provide permission to create, write, read or reposition within a file, delete, truncate. So these are different options we can perform based on a file. So when we say a write, it is a write pointer location where exactly wanted to write. A read, that is read pointer, that is from where we supposed to read. And reposition, that is within a file, if you wanted to have a particular paragraph, that is seek from particular position, particular page. So this is an option available with this file. And then we can have open method or open with respect in the bracket file name. There is search the directory structure on disk for entry Fi and move the content of entry to memory. That is to open particular file, and this is a close. So these are the different operations are available with respect to file. So now moving to open files. So these are all the files are nothing but other than the file, we can say, on the other hand, we can say is nothing but a piece of data. We have some data on that. Several pieces of data are needed to manage open files. So these files are open throughout. So these particular files are managed or mapped against a open file table. So it will keep track of all the open files. Like for example, whenever you open a particular, say you are dealing with the Windows operating system, you have 2 to 3 drives in the directories, C drive, D drive and E drive. Say in D drive you open, you have several folders. Say one of the folders is movie. So within that movie folder you may have segregated or separated movies based on language, English, Kannada, Tamil, Malayalam, Hindi, all those, right? So whenever you try to open that, you can see the list of folders that you already opened. So that is something like open file table. So when you click on backspace button from the keyboard, automatically you can see the movement of the directory which is towards backtracking, right? That is how it tracks open files. So similarly, we can have operating system may have an open file table. So it will keep track of all these open files. Then to map with that, we supposed to have a file pointer. So that is a pointer to last read write location per process that has the file open. So file pointer's job is to make note of where exactly it stopped last time or in the previous open. So the last read write location will be available in this file pointer. Then we have a counter. So that is file open count. Counter of number of times a file is open. That is to allow removal of data from open file table when last processes closes it. So it will maintain a counter in such a way that total number of times a particular file has been opened. So that is available in this file open count. Then we have a disk location of the file. So in this information, we have cache of data access information. Whoever accesses that particular file related with them, their credentials may be stored in the form of encrypted format or any other format. So that is cache of data access information are available under this. And access rights, that is per process access mode information. Access rights in the sense either read, write, execute. So based on that, it can be available in this access right. So if you see in the previous example over here, these are all the access rights. Read and write, read only, no access, like this. So there is a scenario under that. Okay. And moving further, coming to the open file locking. So these are the things we already seen: open file table, file open count and location, and then access rights. So coming to the open file locking, we can have two types of locking mechanism: shared lock and exclusive lock. The shared lock is nothing but two or more processes can share same lock or can access the same file simultaneously or concurrently. So that is nothing but provided by some of the operating systems and file systems, similar to reader writer lock. Shared lock, similar to reader lock, nothing but the particular file can be used by several processes at the same time, can acquire concurrently. So that, say for example, a particular file can be opened by two or more users. For example, today's newspaper can be read by two or more newspaper readers together at the same time in the different machines or in the same machine via opening with the different window. Right, that is the reader mode. The shared lock. Exclusive lock is similar to writer lock, where only one particular process can attain that particular lock and utilize, and then may supposed to release it. So exclusive lock first supposed to get the access to the lock. So once it receives the access, it's supposed to do anything what they wanted to perform on that particular file, then supposed to release the lock. That is exclusive lock. So when we say open file locking, so it can mediate access to a file, can provide an access to a file. So the access in the sense either it is mandatory or advisory also. So mandatory access in the sense it is denied depending on locks held and requested. So based on the provision of the lock, some of the files can make it as mandatory, should have a mandatory lock, otherwise open. So these are the one of the things. Second part is advisory. Advisory is nothing but processes can find status of locks and decide what to do based on the situation. Based on the situation, if it is a lock, shared lock, exclusive lock, based on that, then it may decide. If it is a shared lock, it will directly access it. If it is exclusive lock, it will wait for a particular period of time to get the access to the lock, and then it may open. So these two are the possibility with the open file locking. Here is an example of file locking using Java. In this case, here in this particular example, we are trying to implement file lock mechanism. So here within the main, we declared two file locks. So that is one is shared lock and exclusive lock. Both make it to null. That is zero initially. So then we are trying to read a particular file, trying to open a particular file, that is random access file with the name file.txt. So we use the class random access file with an object RAF. So to open file.txt in read write mode, RW read write mode. So to get the access, you're supposed to have received the channel first. So that is supposed to get the channel for the file. That is file channel ch equal to RAF. That is the object, this particular file. RAF we created over here. Dot get channel. We'll get the channel for that particular file. Then we supposed to check what kind of lock it has. So this locks the first half of the file in exclusive mode, exclusive lock. That is exclusive lock equal to channel lock. Channel is this one. Lock is supposed to lock that particular channel with half of the file. So file name is RAF length divided by 2 with the exclusive lock. Then what to do? Then you're supposed to modify the data, whatever we wanted to do on that particular file. That is file.txt will open, and then after modifying, you're supposed to release the lock. How to release? Using release method. Exclusive lock dot release. Then for the second half, we'll make use of shared lock. Shared lock equal to channel lock of length divided by 2, that is plus 1. That is when we divide, we'll get the first half plus 1, that is next half, and then the length, that is with the shared lock. So again, read the data and release the lock. So this is how we can make use of file locking mechanism using Java APIs. Coming to the different file types and its extensions. So in this table, you can see different file types and its extensions and its function, why it is used. So we can have file type, that is executable file type, with its extension .exe, .com, .bin, or nothing, just a file name. So nothing but ready to run machine language program. So it is used to run the machine language program. Then object file with the extension obj or with the extension .o. Nothing but it is compiled and ready to transfer into machine language, but not linked. So yet to link. Then source code file type, extension with the C, CC, Java, .pas, .asm, .a, .cpp. So these are all different file extensions. These are all source code. There is source code in various low level to high level languages. Then we have batch files. So with respect to batch file, we have BAT, .bat and .sh based on the Unix environment and based on Windows environment. So those are all having commands to the command interpreters. Then we have text files, text file .txt, .doc, .docx, that is textual data and documents. And we have word processor files, WP, TEX, rich text format, RTF, DOC, DOCX. Those are comes under word processor formats. Then we have library files. So this library file is nothing but system library also with the extension .lib, .a, .so, .dll. So these are all libraries of routines for programmers. Then we have different print or view file types like Photoshop with the PS, PDF file, JPG. So these are all ASCII or binary file in a format for printing or viewing. Then archives, archive file type, .arc, .zip, .tar. These are all related files grouped into one file, sometimes compressed for archiving or storage. Compressed files, folders, WinZip or WinRAR, even RAR also, .rar comes under this archive. We can have multimedia files, MPEG, MOV, RM, MP3, MP4, AVI, so many we have. So these are all binary file containing audio or audio video information on that. Coming to the file structure, we can have different file structures. There is sequence of words and bytes. A simple record structure will have lines, it is fixed length or variable length. And we can say complex structure, formatted, documented, relocatable load files. And can simulate last two with the first method by inserting appropriate control characters. So we have, there is no file structure, there is no specific name, just sequence of words and bytes. We may have a simple record structure like few lines or fixed length and variable length. We can have complex structure of files, that is with formatted document, relocatable load files. So these are the things are decided by operating system and the program that we use. Program in the sense application program. For example, if you are typing a particular file, say MS Word document with the extension .doc, then if you have only few words, 1 or 2 words in that, then there is sequence of words. If you have written some lines under that, then it is a fixed line or fixed length within a one page. If it goes on increasing based on number of pages, then is variable length. So if you mix up with the say images with the text, then it is a complex formatted document. So these are all different variants of file structures. We can have a sequential access files from the beginning till the end. That is beginning, for example, to read a particular file, we may start from the beginning and we'll end up in the last. So in between, you can rewind or you can move a front, like rewind option or fast forward option. So all those, that is for with respect to sequential access files. Coming to access methods, with respect to sequential access, we have read next, write next, reset. So read next, that is whenever, say for example, for this one, you can give an example of a Winamp player or MP3 player. So you will have a next button in that. Whenever you click next, automatically next song will be played from the playlist. Or if you want to add it, you can click on write or you can come back previously. Right. So these are the various things can be performed in this scenario. That is for sequential access. So that is about sequential access. Then we have a direct access methods. So that is file is fixed length with the logical records. That is why writing different programs, read n, write n, position to n. So there is specific length, specific location we supposed to record in this. That is to write in the logical records. Read n, that means file n can be read, write n, position to n. So via the using the block number or the record number. So in general, n is related with the relative block number. So that particular block number, whatever the content we have in that particular block, that is to be read. So for that particular block number, something has to be written. So either using this position to n, that is supposed to move the pointer to over here, from that particular position, supposed to read and then write and so on. So in general, relative block numbers allow operating system to decide where the particular file should be placed. So that is two types of access methods. One is sequential access and direct access. So here you can see an example of simulation of sequential access. Sequential access, that is reset. So direct access in the sense CP equal to 0. We suppose specify manually or supposed to initialize with the value that is 0. Read next can give pointers. Read pointer, that is +1. Write next, then you can make use of write CP, then write +1. That is pointer should be moved to the next position. That is how it works. Other access methods. So these are all the built on top of the base method, that is read and write. Based on that, we can have other access methodology also. That is nothing but we can have a index for the particular file. So that is keep index in memory for fast determination of location of data that is to be operated. So we can keep an index file. Using that index file, you can easily track where exactly we wanted to have that particular file in the memory. You can have an ID, identifier or number, so that in which location we are going to save that particular file. That is, if the file is too large, index that is in memory of the index, then we can have it in the disk. As an example, IBM indexed sequential access method, ISAM, that is a small master index, points to disk blocks of secondary index. There is pointer to pointer. We have a small index. From that, we have a pointer that points to the disk blocks which is available in the secondary disk. And we can have a file which is kept sorted on a different defined key. So based on a particular key, we can sort it out. For example, for this one, even we can give a Windows environment also. Consider your directory D. You have several folders, say 20 plus folders you have. Right click on that drive D and click it on sort by. You have sort by option. That is, by selecting any one of the attribute, all the folders might have sorted out. That is file keep sorted on a defined key. And then everything can be controlled by the operating system. So another example is VMS operating system, which provides index and relative files as another example. So here you can see that VMS. Here we have a logical record. It will have a last name and logical number. So this will have the related file in the memory, secondary memory. So the first one is index file. File will keep track of all those record numbers and name, file name. So that is available in that relative file in the secondary memory. So this is how the directory structure is. There is nothing but it is a collection of nodes containing information about all the files. We have group of directories, group of files, and each directory will have keep track of all those files. Both the directory structure and the files reside on the disk. So directory will keep track of the metadata or information about the individual files. You have a pointer towards all individual files, say F1 to Fn. Coming to the disk structure, so disk can be divided into partitions, as we know, based on the platter partitions we have. Then we have tracks, then we have sectors. So disks or partitions can be RAID, protected against failure, random. What is the full form for RAID? As we discussed in detail about RAID already. Redundant access. Is it redundant access? Redundant array of independent disk, RAID. Disks or partitions can be RAID, redundant array of independent disk, protected against failure. So disk or a partition can be used in a raw mode, that is without a file system, or formatted with the file system. So both of the things can also be specified. So that is for the partition. So partitions may also have, or it's also known as mini disk or slice. So each entity contains file system known as volume, and each volume containing file system also tracks that particular file system. That is with respect to in which directory, which device, which partition, and which volume, the hierarchical layer. Along with that, we can have general purpose file system also, and we can have special purpose file system also, which are all frequently within the same operating system or within the same computer. So here you can see the file system organization, partition A, partition B, and partition C. With respect to partition A, we have a directory, and within that particular directory, we have number of files. Partition B, we have different files under one directory. And in second directory, another directory, we have different files in the partition C. So partition C can be a group of disk 2 and disk 3 combination of. So here the particular directory can keep track of number of files in this particular disk partition. Coming to the types of file system, in general, we know about general purpose file systems, but the system will have special purpose and general purpose also. For example, if you consider Solaris system, then we have TMPFS, that is a memory-based volatile file system for fast and temporary input-output. This is whenever you encounter TM or TMP or TMPFS, that is temporary file system. In general, TMP or temporary file system is used for volatile file system or main memory, for the main memory for input-output setup. Then we have OBJFS, that is object file system. So that is nothing but it is an interface into kernel memory to get kernel symbols for debugging, that is object files. Then we have CTFS, that is contract file system, that is to maintain with the daemons in the kernel. Then we have LOFS, that is loop back file system. So if you want, if a one particular operating system or file system can be accessed by the another uh, file, another different type of file system, then we may go with LOFS. They access it in place of another. Then we have PROC-FS, that is procedures or processes file system. Process structure, that is kernel interface to process structures. Then we have UFS and ZFS, general purpose file systems in Solaris. So these are different variants coming to the Solaris operating system. Similarly, with respect to Windows is concerned, we have TMP for temporary, we have OBJ for object file, we have EXE for executable file. All these different kinds of scenario is available based on operating system. So these are the number of operations can be performed on a particular directory. We can perform search, we can perform create file, we can perform deletion, we can list out different directories, we can rename a file, we can traverse the file systems. These are the different possibilities or operations or functions we can perform on a particular directory. Coming to the directory organization, a directory is organized logically to obtain with respect to efficiency, naming. So efficiency in the sense locating a file quickly, how quickly we can locate. That is how we organize the particular directory. So in the form of ascending order, descending order, based on type, based on date, based on size. So those are the our criteria, that is users criteria to define efficiency with respect to different directories. Then we have a naming scenario also, naming conventions. So this naming convention should be followed properly by the user. So this is how, based on the individual user, it may vary. As how it is convenient to the individual user, naming can be provided. So two users can have same name for different files also. The same file can have several different names also. Like you can have, we have write to or save as option in C or C++. Can have a plenty of copies of same file with different names. Grouping, logical grouping of files by properties. Example, all Java programs, like for example, based on the type, if you wanted to save or map or make a list, then we may go with based on type, that is all Java with the extension .java, with the extension .mp3 to group mp3 files, to group mpg files, to group jpeg files, right? So these are the grouping techniques we can make use when we come to the discussion of directory organization. So we can make under the based on name, based on size, based on group, based on type. These are different variants or different options are available based on the directory organization. Here you can see an example of a single directory for all the users. So these are the different directories: cat, bo, a, test, data, mail, contact, hex, records. So the same directory shared between different files. There is single file, single directory for all the users. So here there may be problem may arise because of naming and grouping problem. As there is only one file, or individual user may have access to all the directories, single directories. So there is a problem with the naming, problem with the grouping also may arise. And coming to the multi-level or two-level directory, a separate directory for each user may be assigned. Nothing but each user will have his or her own master file. So here you can see in this particular diagram, user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4. So all will have their own categorical directories, and then within each individual directory, they may have number of files. Similarly for user 2, user 3, and user 4. So here, when we have two-level directory, there should be a master file directory that will keep track of all the users and their allocated files. Then we have user file directory. So in that user file directory, we can have a list of directory that is allocated to one particular user. And then for that particular user, we can have number of files allocated. So in general, each two-level directory should have a path name, can have same file name for different users, easy to search, efficient searching, and no grouping capability. So grouping is a little bit difficult under this scenario. And then we can have tree structure directories starting from the root. In general, we can give example of Unix. It is a tree structure directory starting from root, we have spell, we have bin, we have programs. With respect to spell, we can have its own set of directories like static, mail, and DST. For respect to bin, binary files, you can have count, hex, and reorder. With respect to programs, you can have PEC, ML, mail, and then other file extensions. Then again, each individual directory can be having another set of directories, that is program, copy, print, all those. So when we say copy, again, all, something, few, all those. It's something like tree. Each node can be derived from its parent. Tree structure, left node, right node, each individual node may have the child ends again. That particular child may have again children's, and so on, individual child nodes, and so on. So this is tree structured directories. So it is easier for searching, efficient searching, can easily group it, grouping capability also available, can have proper directory with the path, current directory, cd, /spell, /mail, /prog, then we can have some set of programs under this particular directory. So it is easier for searching, easier for grouping also. On the other hand, we can have this entire path name. It is either absolute or relative. So creating a new file is done in current directory. So that is why using specific commands. Using rm command, remove command, you can remove a file, you can delete a file. You can create a directory using mkdir space directory name. This is how we are going to create different directories under this. So you are very much familiar with this. Then we have acyclic graph directories. So here nothing but we are going to share the subdirectories and files with the different nodes. So that is acyclic. So in this particular example, you can see a root directory with the DICT, dictionary and spell. So dictionary will have again set of directories, list, all, W, and count. Again, spell is having the subdirectory count, words, and list. Count is nothing but a particular file. So this particular file has been shared by count and count by these two subnodes of this root. So now whenever we have a shared subdirectory and shared file, then it is nothing but a cyclic graph directory. So over here is supposed to specify from which layer we are going to point out. That is, which is a root node, and then towards the leaf nodes, we are supposed to give a proper direction. That is a cyclic graph directory. So we can have two different names, that is aliasing can be performed, same name, aliasing for different name for a same purpose, aliasing, like a pet name. If DICT deletes list, then it is a dangling pointer, because if this particular list has been deleted, then only the rest of the part will be remaining. So that is dangling pointer. So the solution is should have a back pointer so that we can delete all pointers, variable size records of problem. So it is using a daisy chain organization. We can give a solution like entry, hold, and count solution for each of these dangling pointers problems. So we can have a new directory entry type, that is via providing a link, that is another name or another pointer to an existing file, that is extending the particular file by providing another name, and resolving the link, that is follow pointer to locate the particular file, that is to trace out, to search, supposed to follow the pointer to locate the file. Here you can see a general graph directory where individual only the parent directory can be shared with the child, with the file along with the child. Here is an example. Count is having with the dealing with this particular file. Again, this particular subdirectory created by AVI book, that will have its own file. So that is general graph can be established. But how do we guarantee there is no cycle at all? So that is allow only links to file, not subdirectories. One thing I guess I forgot to remember. So here it is a cyclic So here it is a cycle. So if there is a deletion from this root node, if we try to delete this particular directory, then there is no cycle, right? So that is the problem behind it. Allow only links to file, not subdirectories. And we may have end up with garbage collection. Why? Because every time a new link is added using a cycle detection algorithm to determine whether it is okay or no. So whenever a new link has been generated or added for an existing file, then is supposed to detect whether it will form a cycle or no. So that is only the solution for that garbage collection. You can have file system mounting also. So that is based on the user, based on the operating system, we can mount it. So a file system must be mounted before it can be accessed. We're supposed to mount it. So as an example, if you are familiar with the loading operating system, so we can load operating system in more than 3 means. One is you can have dedicated operating systems CD or DVD, and then you're supposed to put that CD or DVD drive, CD in your DVD drive, and then you can access from that. That is one methodology. Second methodology is you're supposed to have operating system in server, and using the proper networking capability, you're supposed to access it and install it. Third one is you're supposed to make it available in a pen drive. So make it pen drive bootable, and from there you're supposed to mount your OS. So now, while performing these type of loading operating systems, you are going to mount it. Mounting is nothing but you are forcing the machine to load on top of it. That is, a file system must be mounted before it can be accessed. Supposed to have that particular file before it can be mounted. Over here you can see an unmounted file system. Unmounted file system is mounted at a mount point. So this is mounted system. So this is a route. So root will have number of users. Each users will be given with different file scenario, Bill, Fred, and again. Over here, we don't have any route. We are just trying to implement or trying to make use of the particular file, right? So that is difficult to access. So here we should have a mount point. Otherwise, it is very difficult. Without that mount point, you can't make use of file systems. So any clarification so far? Any clarification so far? We'll take a break and we'll continue a bit later.